Big Monday presented by LinkedIn. We take you inside McDougald-McClendon Arena and Durham, North Carolina for tonight's matchup. It's Norfolk State to take on North Carolina Central next in some outstanding MEAC play. As we take a look and get you set for tonight's meeting, Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you tonight. Lance, this Norfolk State team, 6-0 so far atop the MEAC.
Well, there's a lot of scar tissue between these two ball clubs, but Norfolk State is hot as can be for all season long. They're 15-4, and as you mentioned, have not lost a game in conference play. They are strong, and they finish strong. This should be a good one for them tonight.
Meeting 48 all-time between these two teams, set to tip it off in just a moment. And North Carolina Central undergoing their own challenges this season. They're 2-1 in the MEAC. They previously had a 31-day layoff due to COVID protocols.
Yeah, Derek, it's been about layoffs for them. A lot of hangover from last year into this season, but they've won 2 of their last 3 and had a tough loss against Howard. I look for them to come out extremely aggressive tonight against their rival.
We'll give you the starters in just a few moments. Christian Ings battling with the basketball right now, near side.
Well, look for Ings and Bryant to work with that young man there around the basket.
Chris Bankston getting the easy layup. He's going to be potentially a thorn in the side for the Eagles tonight. Wright, yeah, Miller Jr., Boone, Monroe, and King, the 5 for the Eagles.
And all 3 5 of those guys scored in double digits against Howard. Expect them to come out and try to redeem themselves with a big win tonight.
The defense turning into offense in the layup there for Dana Tate Jr.
Norfolk State so good at getting the ball up the floor and attacking you, going downhill and or getting easy baskets.
The start of this game tonight, you have to figure for North Carolina Central, so important because of that layoff, and Norfolk State doesn't allow you a lot of opportunities to operate. Bryant Jr., Hawkins, Ings, Bankston, and Tate, the 5 for the MEAC leaders out of Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah, and Coach Moden for North Carolina Central, he talked about taking care of the ball and that being an issue for him right now with guys not having a full rhythm.
The battle off the missed shot by Eric Boone, the scramble, and a run out here for the Spartans. Ings lost the ball out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Spartans. Lavelle Moden, 13th season with North Carolina Central. He's had his hands full over the last year plus because of COVID protocols, Lance.
Yeah, he was a very good player himself, but in talking to him today, he was very passionate and emotional about the effects of COVID and how it's impacted this roster. He said he wasn't going to make excuses, and it was because of him that they struggled with losses of recent, but it was very emotional, Derek, talking to him and listening to him. In fact, he compared it to solitary confinement in some ways because he had some friends who talked to him about it and the impacts of it, and they have taught him and let him know that you have to watch these young men and the impact that COVID is having on the roster. Obviously, they've been ravaged with the issues they've had with COVID.
No question about it. There's a social component to being away from your teammates in this situation, and he definitely felt like it had been a challenging situation for his team. 2 free throws by Randy Miller Jr. cuts into the deficit. It's 4-2 in favor of the Spartans. Mentioned that 31-day pause due to COVID. They had a 48-day layoff last season. That was the longest in program history, this number 2. And we'll get into a lot of the player turnover. Just 3 returning players from last year's team.
And Coach compared it to a rebuild. You hear that in the NBA a lot. But college basketball is getting more like that. He's called this a rebuild for them.
Shot by Ings, no good. Bryant, three missing. And a loose ball whistle on the way.
True to form, Norfolk State starting a little slow. And that's something that we talked about today with Coach Jones in terms of having a full game. He says he feels very confident with the way they finish games, but they've got to improve how they start games and be more sustainable.
Ooh, a player control foul called there against Justin Wright. Robert Jones, the head coach of Norfolk State, doing a great job with this program, led them to the NCAA tournament last season and has them off and running again this year, Lance.
So many teams have just carried momentum from last season. You saw U of H getting to the Final Four last year. They're having an amazing season. Baylor won the national title. They're obviously having a great season. Norfolk State as well got in the tournament, had some success, and have carried it over into this season, Derek.
Backdoor feed and a layup is in from Jalen Hawkins. So Hawkins able to extend the lead out to 4, 6-2. Just about 3 minutes in. First half, all 6 points so far for the Spartans in the paint.
Yeah, Hawkins, one of the key components of the three-headed monster they have at the guard spot.
Monroe with the three. So Chris Monroe getting into the mix early with a tray.
Yeah, and he can do that. If he gets a clean look, they rely on him to knock down shots. Good job of getting it to him when he had a little bit of space.
Ings, 8 to shoot, the kick out, long three. Got it. Dana Tate Jr. buries a three.
Wow. These guys for Norfolk State, they can get in a rhythm really quickly and hurt you. It's not a good sign when Bryant isn't in the mix yet and they're playing so well.
The runner too strong off the window and a loose ball foul on the way.
Great movement there. Good job to throw behind you. And then, of course, the other way, Tate Jr. holds the follow-through and knocks it down.
Slow start offensively for North Carolina Central, missing on 4 of their first 5 shots. Another day at the office thus far for the Spartans, missing there, though. Bryant will watch.
Tipping that back. Langston, he's so rangy and long. He has that ability to keep balls alive on the offensive end of the floor.
Randy Miller Jr. step back, short. Tate board. Ings losing his footing and a turnover. Boone back to it and a foul coming up. Back to the line. In a moment, North Carolina Central, but they trail at the moment by 4 to the Spartans.
Guys.
LinkedIn, whatever you're in it for, we're in it together. What a season it was for Norfolk State last year. A season of success in the regular season. They won the MEAC regular season title, finishing 17-8 overall. Then they ended up winning the MEAC championship tournament, defeating Morgan State, advancing to the NCAA tournament where they won an opening round game against Appalachian State by a point before bowing out to Gonzaga in the following round. And Lance, what a successful run for this program under Coach Jones.
Yeah, and we talked to Coach Jones about it today, and he kept referencing the game tonight, saying it was going to be a battle, and he wished he could wear his Timberlands. But I asked him point blank, Coach, did you expect to have the kind of success that you've had this season coming into the season? And he said, honestly, no. He said, this has exceeded any expectations that I had. He said that he was enjoying it and looking forward to build upon the success they had. And then he went on, Derek, to say, but, you know, we kind of could be 18-1 this season with the exception of the Xavier game. he felt like all the other games they could have and should have won. So thinking like a coach, he talked about his ego being part of it, but he's very pleased with the success they've had this season.
No doubt. He is refreshingly honest, and we'll certainly talk a lot about it throughout this game as pass down low, and oh, what a block off the shot attempt by Neziah Chambers. Back the other way. The runner is a little short out of the hands of Justin Wright. The rebound taken by the Spartans.
Boy, that help side defense was unbelievable with the last block.
Tyrese Jenkins straight on three, nails it.
Boy, and that's why Norfolk State is so dangerous. Their main cog in the wheel is Bryant, and you've got so many guys here, Derek, stepping up early and showing you why this team is 15-4 and 16-0. And 6-0 in conference play.
Off the miss, the rebound taken by Tyrese Jenkins. By the way, we'll note that Dana Tate Jr., who started this game for the Spartans, already has 2 fouls. Beautiful turnaround shot is in from Jalen Hawkins.
You know, one of the things that Norfolk State does so well, they are a little unorthodox in the sense that often the guy who brings the ball into the front court will score it, or they're a one-pass team at times. But right now, they really have it rolling. North Carolina Central is going to have to figure it out soon. Norfolk State up big, 14-5.
Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you this evening. Norfolk State leading North Carolina Central 14-5, 8-0 run for the Spartans, ushering us into that last stop. The Eagles preseason pick to finish third in the MEAC. Right circle 3 is short.
You've got to be happy with that possession if you're North Carolina Central. Just didn't get it knocked down, but great ball movement.
Outside. Darrell Anderson into the game for the first time. Long 3 by Bryant. That's contested and blocked. That fly back down the floor, hanging in the air and getting knocked down is Nicholas Fennell. And Fennell may be on the way to the line for a pair.
Well, he did a great job, Fennell did. If you're not going to stop me and I have a straight line, drive right to the basket. And Derek, lest we forget, now this is a team, North Carolina Central, that was down 24 against Howard and sent that game into overtime. And so in spite of the challenges that they had and the struggles with the layoff and all that they dealt with COVID, this team still has a lot of fight left in them.
Mentioning that game, you mentioned the fight. That was certainly a big part of that comeback, and they could not carry it out in the end. They were up 8 points in overtime with just over 90 seconds left to go. Couldn't finish it out. One of the big problems with the game was they had a lot of cramping issues as well throughout.
Yeah, not only that, and Coach talked about it, it speaks to rhythm. There's like 24 turnovers in that game. That's just too many against a team like Howard. And Howard, a very good team in that they scared Notre Dame here recently and almost got an upset at home.
Eric Boone will pick up the foul. First trip to the line for the Spartans here tonight. Mentioned that conversation earlier with Coach Jones about kind of where he thought the team would be. We talked to him prior to the Morgan State game last week. He even said he was surprised that they were picked to finish first in the MEAC.
Yeah, he did. But, you know, he also made the point of not showing all of his best stuff in these games because they have to play in the tournament perhaps later on in the season. So I don't know if Coach was just being a little coy or being strategic in those statements, Derek, because this is a very, very good ball club, having watched them before and seeing what they're doing here again tonight.
Well, if the flavor they're showing so far is vanilla, it's working for them with a 9-point lead.
Yeah, well stated, well stated.
get a offensive foul going the other way against North Carolina Central. They have just not been able to get going here early on. What a Big 12 SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and the app. Number 10 Kansas squares off against Isaiah Brockington, and number 20 Iowa State at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then number 1 Auburn hosts Jaden Shackelford and rival Alabama, who just knocked off number 4 Baylor Saturday. Should be a great night of hoops.
This is a night of physicality. Both teams playing very physical. In my estimation, I don't see North Carolina Central going away. You know, talking to Coach Moten as well about his team, he said this COVID has impacted him as well. He talked about coaching timid. He said he's as much managing as he is coaching people. And I thought that was just an interesting perspective, because typically a coach wants to just get down to the nuts and bolts of coaching. But because of the layoffs and the guys coming in and out of being able to play and the injuries he's had to manage, he said that the players have had to manage, he's got to be more than a coach and be a manager of human beings.
Hawkins able to add to the lead. 16-6, 2 fouls on Eric Boone. Maltsby 3 is an air ball. It's been a run here that the Spartans have been able to sustain into a 10-point lead. Hawkins with a pass inside and a steal. Miller Jr. has that poked away from him. Jenkins will fire. Short on the 3. Maltsby rebound. Maltsby banging into the lane. His layup to follow. That misses as well. The Eagles have had all kinds of problems finishing at point-blank range here to start.
Well,
a rough start offensively.
It speaks to Coach Moten's point, but I do think they've done a good job of getting the pace where they want it. They've just got to be able to execute when they're on this end of the floor.
Baseline drive, and we're going the other way as Randy Miller Jr. will draw the foul. It's all Norfolk State for the moment. Up 10.
People assume these photo shoots are easy.
Just like they assume they can't afford great insurance.
Spartans lead the Eagles 16-6. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you tonight. One of the big challenges that the Eagles have is slowing down this Spartans offense. And Lance, it's tough because on one side they can score it, but on the other side too, defensively, they can slow you down.
Yeah, and they can score because they have multiple guys. I know Joe Bryant and Blaisdon are the guys, but they have multiple guys that can get it done. The other way, North Carolina Central, they've just got to slow down on this end of the court. They're creating opportunities there. They are creating a level of chaos right now for Norfolk State in spite of the score. It's just they continue that chaos, if you will, into the front court when they have the ball.
They have struggled a great deal taking care of the basketball. There's 6 turnovers so far for the Eagles. They're 1 of 11 from the field. But Lance, you mentioned it, they're going into the lane, but the Spartans have done a great job of standing their ground and taking charges.
Absolutely, because they know that North Carolina Central basically isn't going to stop and pass or otherwise, so they're essentially running them over right near or at the rim.
Shot clock to 8. The drive on the attempt by Jones, the save to Bryant, 2 to shoot. He's going to have to let it go. He does. It's an air ball and a shot clock violation on Norfolk State.
I mean, you see, Derek, their defense has actually been excellent in the last 2.5, 3 minutes. North Carolina Central, they're unable to turn this into positive offense. That's great defense there, the two-hand block shot. Kind of like Conate, the guy that was at West Virginia 3 or 4 years ago.
Caldwell can't hit on the 3.
Well, that's a positive because they got a shot off. It wasn't a charge or a turnover. So if you're Coach Moten, you'll take it.
Loose in the lane for a moment outside to Bryant. Bryant off
look
the
at
handle, near turnover.
The defense is actually very sound. Obviously, Norfolk State got out quickly with the 16 points. But North Carolina Central is doing a great job. They're actually speaking Coach Moten's perspective into existence with things being a bit out of kilter on the offensive end of the floor.
High arcing three missing from Darrell Anderson. Both teams struggling from the field. Straight on three, that's good. So that ends the offensive slump off the three by Alex Caldwell. The Eagles had missed on their 11 of their first 12 shots. It's a 7-point game.
Caldwell has had some injury bug issues of late, but they need him, and Coach has been checking his temperature of recent.
Caldwell had missed time due to COVID protocols, came back, had an Achilles issue. As another three is in, this time from Chris Monroe. That's his second three of the game.
Well, that's what they rely on from Monroe. He is their best shooter and most consistent shooter, so you don't want to give him a clean look.
The triple keeping the Eagles in this one so far. Down 6. Turnover. Maltsby, 3-on-2. Maltsby to the rim. Missed the layup. The follow is in. Chris Monroe, one more time.
Well, that's huge, and they've got the crowd into the game, which creates a level of energy on this end of the floor. Derek, this defense is absolutely exceptional.
Oh, a foul as Jones was operating on the far baseline, and Caldwell, who we mentioned already dealing with an injury, knocked to the floor.
This is just excellent with the waves of guys attacking the offensive boards. North Carolina Central. The one thing you can't say that they don't do is that's play hard, Derek. I mean, these guys have played literally almost ignoring the score. I mean, they're playing like their hair is on fire, and I think a lot of that starts with Coach Moten.
Thursday night after the NFL Pro Bowl Skills Showdown, the top teams in the Pac-12 square off in men's basketball. Johnny Juzang should be back from COVID protocol for this one as he leads the number 3 Bruins against number 7 Arizona. UCLA just beat the Wildcats by 16 at Pauley Pavilion last Tuesday. Huge game for both teams. Our coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the app. Jacobs. Now Ings at work. Ings. Scoop layup. No good. Got it back, kept it alive.
Not to get a travel there.
3-ball up. That hits. Joe Bryant Jr. buries a three-pointer, the most outstanding player from the 2021 MEAC tournament. Checks in Durham.
Well, it's amazing how things happen. That might have been a big lucky benefit. But Norfolk State got there because that might have been a travel.
Missed 3 by Caldwell, loose ball foul. And this will be against Fennell. That'll be his second.
North Carolina is
trailing by 8.
Yeah, they were doing a great job of keeping the best player, Mr. Bryant, quiet, but no more. He got a clean look, and he knocked it down.
Lavelle Moten and company down 8 to Norfolk State. Here's 7:04 left to go first half. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you tonight. The Eagles and this university, certainly a proud and storied tradition. First year of college basketball dating back to 1927. And a program that has been wildly successful over the last decade under Lavelle Moten. 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances from 2017 to 2019, and obviously Coach Moten wants to get back to those winning ways here with a great tradition at North Carolina Central, Lance.
Yeah, and in a basketball-rich region and a respected program within that region, obviously, with even the big so-called blue bloods, this is one of them, particularly in the HBCU community.
The three by Caldwell. The lead down to 5, 22-17. Jenkins has that ball poked away from him. And Fennell battling, and we'll get a whistle coming up against the Spartans.
How about this action? Good job with the little handoff. That was great how he came up. He gets his body turned with that release. These guys aren't going away. North Carolina Central, they have every bit of fight in them. Like their coach, they just got to be careful with those turnovers. The area where they've struggled most of late.
Right down low, the layup is in. Justin Wright with the finish. Great pass from Fennell. The finish by Wright.
Oh, how about Wright cutting? The defense got lost. Great catch and finish. A good job letting your system do the work for you.
The Eagles all over the passes here at times tonight. Shot clock to 8. Backdoor feed. The layup is in and one on the way. Jalen Hawkins, exceptional finish down low.
A little bit of their own medicine, North Carolina Central, with the backdoor cut. Talk about trusting in the system. I mean, he just knifed that right through the defense. Catch and finish. The degree of difficulty with that shot there is on a whole nother level.
So Hawkins will try to expand this lead. It was 10 at one point. Hawkins, by the way, closing in on double figures.
Ings and Hawkins, these guys allow Bryant to do what he does so well. Other than the big three, Bryant hadn't had to do a whole lot, particularly on the offensive end tonight.
Lead at 6. Monroe's had a hot hand here early. Gets it from Caldwell, lost the ball.
Good job finding people.
Long three is in. Darrell Anderson knocks down the three-pointer, showing the range from deep. The lead at 9.
Well, North Carolina Central's doing a great job on the ball and on the strong side where the ball is. On the weak side, they've got to get closer to the shooters because Norfolk State is very good at swinging the basketball.
Crossover. The floater and one. Oh, what a move by Justin Wright.
That last possession is emblematic of who these guys are, who this team are. Watch Wright come at him and just never picks his dribble up, keeps his bounce. That crossover there is what created the shot.
The swing, the three, that's an air ball from Jenkins. The runner is no good from Wright. The rebound taken. Bryant down the floor, all the way down the floor, lays it in with the scoop.
Wow, that's just too easy. You've got to stop that ball at some point. Literally almost went the entire 94 feet because the ball was rebounded right under the basket.
Fennell playing with 2 fouls. Monroe trying to get inside. Ball tipped away and stolen. Another turnover committed by the Eagles.
Good job getting back. Norfolk State had every opportunity to turn that into a fast break. That was great defense, great recovery.
The kick, the three, that's no good. The battle for the loose ball. Fennell able to control it. Caldwell, three is good. Alex Caldwell. He had some rust on him a few games ago. Not so much now.
Tell you where there's no rust, Derek, on the crowd. This fan support, this is like an old school brawl. They are telling us like it is with their response to this difficult play.
Bryant missed. Great follow there by Tyrese Jenkins. Looking for a heat check three. That misses.
Boy, that's exactly what that is. Perhaps a little ill-advised.
Hawkins tries to answer. He can't. Loose ball foul on the way. And will go the other way as things heating up in Durham, North Carolina.
North Carolina Central's defense has been great, but not so much on this possession. A little easy one for Bryant right to the rim. Norfolk State up.
Spartans up 7 over the Eagles. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you. So far, the game has been mostly in control in the terms of the Spartans' 10-1 run early. Meanwhile, the Eagles, Lance, have battled back after a slow start from the field. They've hit on 7 of their last 12 shots.
Oh, they've been fantastic in responding to the big lead that Norfolk State has had. And I think it's because of the way things have calmed down for them or slowed down at some level on this end of the floor.
Caldwell, who's having a nice first half, leading the team in scoring with 9. Shot clock down to 8. Step back jumper, no good by Jenkins, from Wright. The loose ball controlled by the Spartans and Bryant.
Other than scoring and getting stops, one of the things you want to maintain, if you're Central, in North Carolina Central in this case, it is the momentum. It's a huge part of this game against Norfolk State, Derek. Momentum.
Chambers miss. Randy Miller Jr. for 3. So Randy Miller Jr., the team's leading scorer heading into tonight, averaging over 13 points per game, gets going there with a 3.
Yeah, one of the things Coach Moten talked about was Miller trying to do too much. He's the senior. He's the guy who tries to make all the passes and the shots. But with him calmed down and allowing his teammates to do what they do, it allows him to play at his best. As you see, he gets squared up. He can knock that shot down. They need him. They just don't need him doing a ton of things, and that can be the propensity of a guy who's been there so long and wants to win as badly as he does.
Lance, how much of that do you think is a reflection of the roster turnover? You know, Randy Miller Jr. is a player who was at Indiana State previously, but before that, he played with North Carolina Central. He's back into the program. 11 guys lost from the roster last year. Do you think he's trying to overcompensate, and maybe that's why Coach Moten is thinking in that regard?
Well, I think the answer is in your question. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he has, let's say, corporate knowledge, if you will, of the program. He's close to Coach Moten and knows him. And, you know, when you're a senior, you're getting to the end. So you want to savor every moment, and you want to go out at the top. And I'm sure a lot of that is driving why he tries to do so many things. He almost cares too much, if you will.
3 ball up. That's no good. Loose. The battle, and Chris Ford stepped out of bounds.
Right now, it's about game management. And we've been talking about Smith. He is the guy to help do that. With just over a minute left, you don't want to give any opportunity for Norfolk State to think that they can regain the momentum in this game.
The bump on right, and that's going to be a foul charged to Isaiah Chambers.
You know, something that goes unnoticed is the ability to draw fouls in as well as Wright has been playing. I know it's his second year, but they look at him like a freshman because of the COVID situation last year. He has that skill set. He's so strong, plays low to the ground, has great balance. But that aggression is what allowed him to create that foul for his team.
Wright's first is good. We have 6 great rivalry men's basketball games for you Saturday on ESPN and the app starting at noon Eastern, but we're featuring these 3. Number 8 Baylor squares off against number 10 Kansas at 4 Eastern, 3 Central. Then this one could be the best of them all. Number 9 Duke and North Carolina at the Dean Smith Center. And at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, number 5 Kentucky takes on Alabama. Both of those sonic blockbusters. What a full day of hoops we have in store for you.
You know, speaking of blockbusters, Derek, I think we have one on our hands here in the MEAC.
Bryant,
very fortunate not to get a foul there on Blankston.
Ford battling down low, goes up, and what's called? This will be against the Eagles. So put Ford at the line. Will be Dontavius King who picks up the whistle.
This is a great scenario in North Carolina Central. They get clock stoppage. An opportunity here to get the last shot and bring the crowd right into their halftime.
First from Ford, a little bit too strong, 66% from the line on the season. It's the back of the iron on the first. One more for the senior. That's no good. Offensive rebound, though, grabbed by Hawkins.
Wow, you got to get that rebound.
Stop. And the officials will get together here to talk things over. Let's see. At the moment, 9 seconds to shoot on the clock.
I think all of this plays into the hands of North Carolina Central because, again, I mentioned the momentum a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago. If I'm North Carolina Central, I don't want Norfolk State to get back to where they were when the game started in terms of flow and rhythm.
Well, Coach Jones, keenly aware what happened the last time these two teams met in this building in February of 2020. It was a tough night for his team. Up 15, they blew the lead and lost the game.
Yeah, he talked about it extensively today. I mean, right now, you've got Bryant, best player, pretty quiet. We can't see the clock. There was just over 29 seconds left in the half when the free throws were taken.
They may be trying to figure out what's going on with the game clock in correlation with the shot clock.
I don't know that. I saw 29.3, I believe it was, on the clock when the free throws were being taken.
They continue to look things over. If you're just joining us, It's been a game where really Norfolk State has controlled it most of the way, but they've seen their 10-point lead whittled down to 2. Hawkins leading the Spartans with 9. The Eagles led in scoring by Alex Caldwell off the bench with 9. Getting a look here. And there's something going on with how much time's left in the half, along with how much time's left on the shot clock. Off of that miss by 4.
Yeah. College, the shot clock, if you rebound the ball on an offensive situation, it resets to 20. And so I think the fact that it didn't reset is the issue there because of the offensive rebound. It didn't reset to the 20 seconds as it should have. In the NBA, it goes to 14, and in college, it should reset to 20. We couldn't see the clock from where we are, our vantage point, but I think perhaps that is the issue. See, right there, you should have a 20-second shot clock.
And again, I mean, this is an important thing because depending on how much time's left, you could have another possession on the back end. So you definitely want to make sure you nail this call pertaining to the end of the half.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the stop clock out.
It looked like
again. They continue to mull this over and try to figure out what exactly needs to be done here with the clock. Lance, while we have a moment here, Joe Bryant Jr., 2 of 7 from the field, just 5 points. You know, you look at some of the key names in this game, kind of held in check offensively so far.
Well, I think that's a big part of the story. But we also know that Bryant can heat up with the quickness. I mean, he scored all of his points in the second half in his last game, which was huge. So it's very difficult to keep a player like Bryant quiet. But you got to tip your hat to North Carolina Central and what they've done thus far.
Bryant's got it here. Turns, leans in, goes glass and scores. Joe Bryant Jr. knocks down the shot, but Justin Wright is down.
Yeah, and Coach Moden yelling at the official because he feels like he...
Mel Moden is hot.
Yeah, he's pretty upset. Oh. I don't know. It looked like Bankston. Yeah, but looks like he's holding his chest now. Looked like he was trying to avoid the contact. You see him raise the right arm. Watch him raise the right arm.
Right. Not pleased with the proceedings right there.
No, and as you would expect, the coach fighting for his players. But that collision, to me, it looked like both players were just going to where they thought they should be going and collided with one another.
So the MEAC's leading scorer this season on the board once again. He's got 7 to lead a 4 for the Spartans. 34-30, time winding down. Caldwell.
The bucket here would be huge.
Monroe three, no good. The follow, tip, and we'll get a loose ball foul. This, it looks like, will be against the Spartans.
Well, given the circumstances, Derek, I don't think North Carolina Central could have asked for anything better than how this is going to likely finish. You certainly don't want to foul should the free throws be missed, one of them. And beyond that, you don't want to give up a long pass, easy basket.
Front end of a 1-and-1 missing, and that will wrap up the first half. 4-point lead for Norfolk State. We've reached halftime here in Durham. The Spartans up 4. Let's take you to the studios with Crispin, Cup, and Connors. Stay tuned. The Spartans have led by as much as 10. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you this evening. As when you take a look at how this game has worked out, Lance, Alex Caldwell has played a big role so far for the Eagles.
Well, he's only played about 9 minutes in the last 2 games, and this is what Coach Bowden has been looking for. He's been looking for someone to step up and a little bit of continuity. It looks like the senior Caldwell has found that. That is huge for North Carolina Central if they're going to get this kind of performance from Alex Caldwell.
No doubt about it. Caldwell has been a key cog for them offensively so far. Meanwhile, Joe Bryant Jr., the MEAC's leading scorer, has been slow to get going here a little bit, but came alive at the end of the half.
Yes, he did, with the nice basket right off of the glass. He's been quiet. He's an important part of the three-headed monster. You do not want to give him clean looks, as you see there, because he will make them. He's not an easy man to keep down. As we know, he gets better as the game goes on. He's also a little older and stronger and wiser, so he can get going and score a lot of buckets quite quickly, Derek.
Bryant leading the team in scoring with 16 points per game coming into this one, but 34-30 the lead for the Spartans over the Eagles. More in a moment. Back in Durham, North Carolina, 34-30 lead. Spartans over the Eagles. Second half action set to get going in a moment. Derek Jones and Lance Blanks with you tonight. It's MEAC action as the first place Spartans and the second place Eagles get going here to start the second half. Chris Monroe popping a three, no good. Bryant with a loose ball.
I think Bryant is the key in this half. Let's not forget his last game against South Carolina State, he had all 22 points in the second half, so he can get it going and score in bunches.
Blowout win over South Carolina State on Saturday for Norfolk State. Pass whipped inside and a steal. Hawkins pull up three. Got it.
This part of that
Hawkins into double figures.
And Hawkins, Bryant, and Ings, they play so well together, and then Bankson holds things down on the interior of Norfolk State.
Loose, and that ball goes out of bounds with Wright.
Yeah, I mean, you see there, he just walks right into the shot. He's got to pick him up a little sooner than that. These guys have the green light to score. You know, speaking of the green light, Derek, I love today when we talked to Coach about why they played so well in the second half. And he said, some guys talk about X's and O's. I talk about threats. So referencing that he sometimes threatens his guys at halftime and they respond. You know, that's the sign of a good coach. He knows which buttons to push and when to push them.
Well, the threat portion of that, obviously, you won't be playing if you don't follow these instructions. Bankson gets fouled.
He's got enough talent and deep enough bench to make good on those threats.
We didn't hear a ton from Bankston in that first half. You take a look at how things played out. You know, Dana Tate Jr. got into foul trouble early. That kind of shifted the game a little bit in favor of the Eagles as Bankston rattles out the first free throws.
Yeah, and I thought the fact that Bankston and Bryant being quiet was one of the big successes of North Carolina Central. But what they have to be careful of here early in this first half, Derek, is what I call slow momentum, just kind of eking a greater lead Norfolk State and not doing it in an explosive way. I thought the fact that North Carolina Central was able to get a chaotic game going with the crowd involved helped them immensely in the first half.
Ball knocked out of bounds. By the way, that's the third foul against Dontavius King. He is the first player in this game to pick up 3 fouls.
You talk about that ball being knocked out of bounds. I thought the fact that they only had 3 turnovers in the last 10 minutes, North Carolina Central, that was also a major key because that's been a struggle for them with the continuity issues and the fact that they haven't been able to practice a whole lot up until recent. That's the doing too much. That's the doing too much. Sorry about that, pal. That's the doing too much there. Just trying to get more than what is there ends in a turnover. Nothing there. Get off of that because it really, even if you beat him around the corner, there's another defender behind him.
We'll go the other way. An illegal screen as Hawkins hits the deck. So a sloppy start both ways to open up this second half. Hawkins pleading his case. He looked like he had taken the bigger brunt of that play. It's an 8-point lead. Spartans up. To the rim, Wright, got it and one. Justin Wright puts it in.
He is so good off the bounce, Wright is. Miller may be the most mature player, but Wright is the most important player for this ball club because they really rally around him. And whenever he can get the ball in the middle of the floor, he is extremely dangerous. A little bit of Groundhog Day, Terry, seeing him get the ball around the rim. He's such a great finisher, especially when you consider his size. If he gets hit, he's still able to get the ball up to the rim.
Wright unable to get that free throw to drop at the offensive rebound. Wright, by the way, had 17 points in that loss to Howard on Saturday. Elbow jumper. That's no good. The offensive board loose. And now back the other way, it's Hawkins. Got a foul as Wright came in, reached in, drawing the whistle.
Yeah, Wright a little bit over aggressive. You don't want to take away the aggression, but you also don't want to make silly fouls. A man that's got a defender in front of him 25, 30 feet from the basket is really no threat to score, so there's no need to take that risk in foul.
Nearly 3 minutes in, half two, 6-point lead for the Spartans. Ings. Back in. Oh, a two-handed flush. Bankston.
Well, that's what Bankston does. He's a great diver, catcher, and finisher around the rim. Defender or no defender, you've got to get out away from the basket if you're going to defend that simply because he can jump so high.
Wright with an answer. Foul line plus jumper. Knocks it down. It's a 6-point game again.
Not an easy jump shot over Bankston. He's the best leaper in the gym, in the area, in the region. He's the longest body, so that's a big-time shot there by Wright.
Ings trying to get a step. Contested layup missed. And a foul off the King rebound, and Wright draws a whistle.
This is a slip screen with a dive. You've got to have someone on the backside help that, because if he catches it that deep, it's an automatic finish. Good recognition, and not to stay there with the screen and just dive to the basket or slip the screen.
Bankston does a ton of damage at point-blank range. One of the most prolific dunkers in college basketball. Sheer volume. North of 40 dunks this year.
Who makes the guard so complete.
Wright can't get the home roll. Tate Jr. with the rebound.
Wright has such a soft touch. You think everything's going in if it touches the rim.
Hawkins miss. Maybe an ill-advised three there. Wright leading in, goes glass and scores. Justin Wright, two more.
This young man is a special ball player. You cannot allow him to get that deep. Surprised they aren't at least applying a little ball pressure when he has the ball coming into the front court. If he gets it going downhill, he's so strong. He's too good in terms of finishing around the rim.
Wright's got the last six for the Eagles. Bryant crossing over to the paint, in traffic. Lost the ball. Wright, he loses the handle, tries to save it. Can't, it goes right to Bankston. Tate, pull up Jay, count it.
Norfolk State's older guys, they're so good at going to a spot and getting a basket, particularly from the backcourt to the front court. Great job of recognizing opportunity on this end of the floor, Derek.
Bankston creating some problems with the block, but Justin Wright doing his thing here for the Eagles.
Yeah, he is the catalyst on this end of the floor. Look at the little crossover. Oh, takes the hit and the finish. Wright pulling out the full arsenal right now for North Carolina Central.
Bob Dandridge, one of the newest additions to the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2021, and one of the legends at Norfolk State, averaged 32.3 points per game, a two-time NBA champion, and as mentioned, an inductee of the 2021 Basketball Hall of Fame class. All a part of the great basketball tradition at Norfolk State, Lance.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, Dandridge is the trailblazer. Obviously one of the greats to take his talents, if you will, to the NBA. And people don't realize what a lot of guys like Mr. Dandridge had to endure in their march. And a lot of the HBCUs really were minor leagues for the pro level, whether it be college or football or college basketball. Those guys cut their teeth. And in that speech, he talked about the impact of North Carolina Central on his life beyond the basketball court and how it's impacted him through his adulthood.
A legendary figure at Norfolk State and an NBA champion. Boom, a foul on the shot by Alex Caldwell, and he'll go to the line for 3 free throws.
Good job getting that off, and Bankston comes right through. Yeah, you got to let the shooter come down. Obviously, that was a good call and the right call. But they can sneak right back into this game with 3 free throws, Derek, in my estimation. And the reason is because you got no clock going. And you get to get 3 on the board, set your defense up. A great opportunity, and the guy you would want on the line.
What a Big 12 SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader we have for you on ESPN and the app. Number 10 Kansas squares off against Isaiah Brockington and number 20 Iowa State at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then number 1 Auburn hosts Jaden Shackelford and rival Alabama, who just knocked off number 4 Baylor Saturday. Should be a great night of hoops headed your way as a part of Super Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the hot hand right now.
Gets that one as well. So Caldwell cuts it to a 5-point game. His first points of the second half.
He's been extremely hot. Only 8 for 16 on the season from free throw line, and that's probably because of minutes, but he's hot, so why not?
Ings trying to get by Monroe. Tough shot. What a play by Christian Ings.
And that's an example of why they're so good. Great play calling, but you need talent to execute those plays. In fact, Coach talked about it. That was manufactured by a great athlete.
What an answer by Justin Wright. So you have Ings on one side scoring his first points of the night, and Wright with a bucket here and a steal by Fennell, and a foul on the Spartans. So the Eagles defense trying to spark them to life.
Well, I think this is where the Eagles can be good. Pressuring the Spartans, getting the game fast and up and down, and that's what happened in the first half. There's no reason why they can't do it in this half and create the kind of environment that they had in the first half. You also want the crowd in the game, Derek. You want to take advantage of having the home court. And none better than this group here tonight. They are into this game.
Marquis Maltzby into the mix as we approach the midway point of the second half. 10.5 left to go. Wright gets a seam and a foul.
Every time that Wright has basketball, it's either going to be a foul or a bucket, especially if he gets it going downhill. He's so good pace-wise at going downhill that he doesn't get out of control. He's able to get to the line and get baskets. But you talk about home there. I mean, that's what it's all about at North Carolina Central, and the fans come out and show that as we see here tonight.
Oh, no doubt. This has been a tough place for visiting teams to win in the MEAC over the years, as Wright misses the first. A part of it certainly is, let's be honest, the Eagles have been very good. But another part of it, too, is the crowd. And the crowd brings so much energy to North Carolina Central. 1 out of 2 from Wright. He's got 16 now.
The crowd is a key component. I mean, these are human beings on the basketball court, so they too can get nervous.
Tate, step back 3, hits. Dana Tate Jr.
And timely. We talked to Coach about his team and why they have so much success at Norfolk State late in games, and he thought it was because of the maturity of his players.
The Monroe miss, the Maltzby follow. 5-point game again.
Maltzby's done a great job tonight of just playing his role, filling in the gap, being a bit of a glue guy, not getting outside of his envelope and trying to do things that he can't do. Great put back there.
Off the miss, Bryant hanging, and he is fouled. 2 free throws coming for Joe Bryant Jr., who is a little shaken up.
Yeah, a lot of this game is about extra effort, particularly around the basket. You've got to box people out on the defensive end. Both teams doing a great job of crashing the boards.
Talking about kind of how successful North Carolina Central has been at home as of late. They're 30-5 in their last 35 home games. That loss to Howard was the first win by Howard at North Carolina Central since 2015.
And I mean, that was gut-wrenching for him because felt like they were in position to win it, as you pointed out earlier in the game. I mean, they had a lead with only 91 seconds to go and just gave it up. And talking to Coach, he said it was about running out of gas and turning the ball over. That's what led to the unfortunate loss against Howard.
Well, whenever you ask a coach about games of that ilk, you get a lot of answers. Talking about execution is Caldwell can't hit the three. Tate with the loose ball. One of the things he also said was, hey, look, that's my fault. And he took a lot of responsibility for the end of that game. Steele. Caldwell. Euro. And he got it.
Boy, it is hard to explain how difficult that shot is that Caldwell just made. That was a great Euro, and he did it between two defenders and got the shot off at his size. Excellent execution there at the rim.
Caldwell's got 14. Bryant, three, no good. The long miss, grabbed, and an offensive rebound taken by the Spartans.
Wow, what a great rebound.
Bryant working and scoring.
Got to close out the possession.
The second chance points in favor of the Spartans. An illustration as to why on that last bucket, 11-4 advantage for the Spartans there. 7-point lead for Norfolk State. More in a moment from Durham. Hank?
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not.
56-49 over the Eagles. And Lance, as you take a look at the second half, every time the Eagles make a push, the Spartans make one.
Yeah, it's unlike what happened in the first half when the Eagles got back in the game. There you see Caldwell on the finish, but on the other end, Bryant gets the layup. The Eagles have to be able to put together some defense with their offense. And Coach Moten knows the intensity is going to be amped up, as well as the effort by Norfolk State, because they know that this undefeated record in conference play is in jeopardy.
Maltzby on the miss. Jenkins able to grab the loose ball. Whenever you talk about Bryant, the phrase old man at some point comes into play based off of his game, and that's a player control foul against the aforementioned Joe Bryant Jr.
Yeah, and how about Maltzby again? He had the miss on one end, but perhaps he can start a trend of stops here. Bryant gets it going downhill, doesn't often stop when he gets it going. Ooh, not sure if he was moving, but he was definitely outside of the restricted area. North Carolina Central, Derek, they've got to string together some stops. I think they'll be able to score, particularly with Wright on the court. Monroe, they've got guys that can put the ball in the hole, but collectively they literally have to build a wall and now to not allow the second chance points. Right now, Norfolk State is leading in that area 11-4 for the game. Well, we're going to take a break as they talk about it. North Carolina Central trails 49-56.
As someone with hearing loss, I know what a confusing and frustrating experience getting hearing aids can be. That's why I founded Lively. High-quality hearing aids with all of the features you need and none of the hassle. Lively offers Bluetooth FDA-regulated hearing aids delivered to your door for thousands less than you'd expect, and remote access to an audiology team 7 days a week. Better hearing has never been this easy. Try Lively risk-free for 100 days. Visit listenlively.com.
Have you heard of the World Wide Web?
The computer thing?
You can sell anything on there. People just type what they want to see, and we pop up.
Apparently there's a tape going around of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee.
What the heck is this? How many copies of this are out there? There could be dozens, hundreds. You don't seem to understand what a big deal this is to me.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next?
How do you get in front of companies or get a patent?
Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors just like you for over 35 years.
And thousands of people contact them every month.
You can meet with an InventHelp representative near you who will keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. And they offer 3D animations and prototyping services, showing companies how your invention could work. And InventHelp's exclusive data bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to confidentially review new ideas like yours.
Don't wonder what to do next. Take action right now and get the help you need from InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today. The call and the information are free. Call now.
800-547-9730. That's 800-547-9730 now.
The Spartans have not trailed in this game, but Coach Jones certainly still trying to implant and impart wisdom on this team as they head down the home stretch here, Lance. This is a guy who is not worried about the historical significance at the moment of what his team's doing. The best start for MEAC team, that 9-1 start, and he is coaching away this season.
No, he set the tone for tonight with his statements about thinking he should be wearing his Timberlands because of the battle. And you're seeing that with his team. I mean, in the second half, they're shooting 58% against 42% in the first half. And I think that's in large part because of his focus and his intensity. I mean, we've been watching him on the sideline, and he's been, look at this. This is a guy that is charged up and bringing a lot of fervor, and nonverbal communication is as important as verbal communication. And so this is a coach who wants his guys to lock in and literally run through the finish line of this game.
He is not satisfied having won 6 straight games. He wants a 7th.
He did not coach like a coach who was undefeated in conference play. There's a hunger and a hungriness to him. And he impacts his guys with that intensity that he brings to the sidelines.
Both teams, by the way, in a 1-1 situation moving forward. 18 fouls apiece in this second half. 7 minutes left to go. That's the margin. Make it 5 for the Spartans after the jumper by Wright.
I think with Wright on the court, again, I don't think it's going to be a problem scoring the ball, Derek. It's going to be about getting stops here. And how about Wright? Look who he's guarding. He's guarding the best offensive player in Bryant, but Bryant sets a screen and gets a foul there because he's not set.
Clearly
he's got to
moving
stop.
there,
This is almost like a pulling guard in football. He runs right into Caldwell. Caldwell didn't even have to sell that. He hit him so hard.
It looked like he didn't come to a complete stop, and right, easy call. Caldwell 3, got it. Alex Caldwell from deep. It's a one-possession game.
I think it's about getting the rebound. North Carolina Central, they've been able to get stops. It's the second chance opportunities that have been penalizing them and hurting them so far.
Tate flips it up and in. Dana Tate, timely bucket there to extend the lead out to 4. Big bucket.
Wow. He's got 12 points in this second half. Tate, and that was actually good defense. Stick the arm out on the backdoor cut, and that's just an unfortunate circumstance. You know, Derek, it's amazing to me how good teams have good fortune. They just put themselves in a position to score or get stops and win games. If this is a close game, I guarantee you that not only we will, but Carolina Central will have to reflect back on that particular possession, because there was nothing really that they did wrong other than be unlucky.
Tate has taken full advantage. He has 17 points, leading the Spartans in scoring. He's a perfect 6 of 6 from the field, including a pair of three-pointers. Fourth game in a row that Tate has been able to knock down at least one three-pointer, and that's an added weapon for somebody his size at 6'7", 220.
Yeah, and he's one of the other guys. I mean, he's not Ings or Bryant, Hawkins. He's the other guy, and that just shows how deep this roster is. Norfolk State.
Miller can't get that shot to drop. He's had a tough night, and we'll get a push going the other way. LaVelle Moden can't believe it.
Coach Moden playing every play. I thought that was the right call. You certainly want to get called on aggressive mistakes, and I thought that's what that was. North Carolina Central, but they've got to figure out a way, Derek, to get this game pace picked up. I think that's where they're best, and I think that's where they've had most of their success here tonight.
Jenkins missing the free throw. The woes continue from the line on the front end of a 1-and-1. 10 of 21 from the stripe now are the Spartans. Monroe, catch and shoot, got it. Down to a one-point game.
Wow. What a shot. Monroe and Wright can carry these guys on the offensive end of the floor.
Good ball movement. Three by Hawkins, misses. Eagles can take a lead for the first time tonight.
Game management. Good job not pushing the envelope.
Caldwell with the drive. Missed the shot. Rebounded by Bryant.
Good job avoiding the charge and giving his team a chance.
Bryant against Fennell. No good, but a foul coming up against Nicholas Fennell.
How about Monroe? How good has he been when he's gotten clean looks? Look at the picture-perfect form and the little kiss. Young man, you have earned your keep tonight with your exceptional shooting.
Monroe with 4 three-pointers now in this game as Bryant, one of the nation's best from the free throw line, 4th in the country, heading in, knocks down the free throw.
You saw in that particular possession, Bryant had his mind made up. Basically, he was going to take that shot. He is the backbone of this ball club. Trusting self.
Gets that one. While others have struggled, he's been on the money tonight from the line. 4 of 4.
Well, most of the time, you're going to see the ball in his hands, not only because of the free throw shooting, but he is the guy who is the spark this season.
Way off is right. Tate with a rebound. Tate, long three, short, first miss of the night for Tate. Gets a loose ball. The feed, Bryant, layup, count it.
We talked about it, the offensive rebounds and the second chance points. Those have been a problem all night long for North Carolina Central. If they lose this game, that is the first place they'll go to on the stat sheet.
Miller, awkward layup attempt, good defense. Wright trying to follow, he gets hacked. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by LinkedIn. Whatever you're in it for, we're in it together. The Spartans trying to hold on to their perfect record in the MEAC, 6-0 so far. It has been a fantastic game. Tate leading the Spartans 17 points. Justin Wright with 18 points to help pace the Eagles. But Lance, the big storyline here in this second half, every time the Eagles have gotten close, the Spartans have an answer.
Yeah, they do. We saw the backdoor cut. Ended up in Tate's hands, and then we've seen the second chance opportunities as we see the graphic there. And now we're seeing the woes at the free throw line continue. A lot of these are self-inflicted wounds here late in North Carolina Central. In spite of those, though, Derek, they still have a chance. There's plenty of time left in this game, and they will have plenty of opportunities. They can just get a break and discontinue the self-inflicted wounds, such as the 2 missed free throws.
Wright's a 78% shooter from the line, missed 2. Both teams under 60% tonight from the free throw line. Tate, catch and shoot 3, no good. Boone has to be careful here. He's got 4 fouls.
Boone's a key because of his defense.
Speaking of defense, good job there by Tate. Bryant will slow it down with 3 minutes left.
The defense is loaded up. There you see all the guys on that side of the floor.
Hawkins 3, missed it. And out of bounds. Back over to the Eagles. Lance, what do the Eagles need to do here to kind of get the push over the top?
Well, it happens at this end of the court. The defense, they've got to get stopped. I think you're going to see scoring. Obviously, you want to look for Monroe open. I would put the ball in his hands and or Wright's hands and allow him to drive and or kick to Monroe.
Caldwell launches a 3, no good. The battle, Fennell with it. Fennell, he'll go to the line.
You know, Fidel did a good job of drawing that foul, but I want to talk about the defensive end for a moment with North Carolina Central. You might notice that Wright, he is literally taking his hands and arms and putting them behind his back on the defensive end, and that is to ensure that he doesn't get called for a foul on that end of the court. And so Coach Moten not going with the traditional offense-defense, meaning substitute an the offensive player being Wright and put a defensive player in the game when they're on defense. But what surprises me about that is the Spartans are not trying to go at Wright because he's literally putting his hands behind his back.
What a lineup we have for you this weekend. Saturday, the NHL All-Star Game is at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ABC and ESPN+. We'll have a couple of college Sonic blockbusters on ESPN as well. Baylor, Kansas, Kentucky, Alabama, and Sunday, the Pro Bowl is on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and Disney XD. That is a weekend lineup. Turnover. 2-on-2. A foul on the drive by Boone.
Boone did a great job there. The one thing you wanted to make sure of is that you either got to the line or you made the basket. Boone did the right thing, made a great decision, taking that ball all the way to the rim, knowing the defense would commit, as Ings did, and foul. So much time left in this game.
Double bonus each way. 2 timeouts each way with 2:14 left. Eric Boone at the line. Gets the first.
Boy,
barely.
That's the first hurdle to get over. I mean, they have struggled before then, missing the front end. free throws, 4 out of the last 5, made that one. Wow, that's huge.
Gets 2 there.
Yeah, that's huge psychologically. I'm sorry, pal, but that's huge psychologically to make those free throws, because that's an area of struggle, and now you have the crowd fully committed.
A turnover, pass intended for Bankston. The Eagles can take their first lead of the game with a bucket.
Wright is a great driver because he's able to stop and doesn't typically try to run over the defense.
Monroe for the lead. Got it! First lead of the game for the Eagles, 7 straight.
Well, you got to know that Bryant is going to be the guy on this end.
Hawkins tries to answer. He can't. Bankston with it. Loose ball. The scramble continues. Who's got it? Monroe has it.
Oh, it's
1:08 left.
That's right. Wright has the ball. Well, I was surprised on that other end that they didn't let Bryant go to work.
Down to 7. Wright gets by, lays it in. 9 in a row for North Carolina Central, up by 4. A timeout has been called on the floor. Lance, how about this run by North Carolina Central?
Well, it's really about this end of the floor. You got the steal, and then they did a good job of putting the ball in their shooter's hands. How many times have we seen this? And then look at the strength. Oh, my gosh. The young fella takes it all the way to the rim. He's got the crowd fully engaged. They are in a position to do some great things here with 42.3 seconds to go against a very good Norfolk State team.
The Eagles, who went 45 days in between playing games at home because of a 31-day COVID stoppage, 42 seconds away from ending this 6-0 start for the Norfolk State Spartans.
Boy, you really feel for North Carolina Central and what they've endured, and it really shows you how important it is to stay with it. And I don't want to suggest that this game is anywhere close to being over, but some people and or coaches, Derek, don't believe in moral victories. To me, there is some moral victory in this to be up 4 against one of the hottest, if not the hottest, college teams in the nation on your home court with all you've endured. What a great position to be in. But as I said, there's a lot of basketball left and a lot of important and key decisions that have to be made, not only from the bench, but on the floor.
This bucket right here by Wright, they're trying to double check how much time's left, because if you notice there, Bryant and the Spartans went back down the floor with the basketball after timeout had been called. The clock was still running. It is loud in the arena, so they are trying to figure out how to deal with that clock stoppage.
It's just a good job by the officials. We saw that also in the first half where there was a clock issue on a free throw. And now we're seeing some of the same great game management.
Justin Wright closing in on a career high in scoring. He's got 20 tonight, 4th time this season. He's been able to hit the 20-point marquee. probably, maybe 44.1. Perhaps that's where the clock will go back to.
Yeah, this is important because you and I both know this game is going to come down to the wire. Every tenth of every second is going to matter.
Again, remember, this was a game where you go back to Saturday, Howard was down by 8 points with just over 90 seconds left and came back to beat North Carolina Central. So they know.
Yep.
Speaking of the Eagles, they have to close this out. Hawkins. And a steal. Boom. Takes off. And it is blocked. Still alive. Maltsby gets bumped.
How about the aggression to go up and try to finish that basket at the rim? Wow. Boone showing the athleticism. It looked like Bryant got it just enough.
Now, this puts the Eagles back at the free throw line. First is in.
This is one of the unsung heroes of this game. Murphy's been fantastic all game long, doing little big things like this. I call them little big things.
Gets 2. 6-point lead. 11 straight from the Eagles. Near steal by Boone. Kept alive by Bankston. 20 seconds left. Tate driving in. Can't get it. Oh, what an athletic follow and dunk by Bankston to cut it to a 4-point game with 16.5 left.
Yeah, the mark of a great team is what you see from Norfolk State. They will play all the way to the end. So you've got to try to close out all possessions. You're the Eagles. Watch him streaking right down the middle of the lane there. If you're defending that, you literally have to go look for Bankston. You see Monroe, he got caught watching. Those kind of athletic guys, you got to do everything you can to keep them away from the rim. Even if you don't get the rebound yourself, it's a success just keeping Bankston away from the rim because he's going to usually get that rebound on most courts given his size and length if he has a running start.
The Spartans have led in this game for just about 38 minutes. The Eagles with a small slice of the game pie here, but it might be good enough to grab a win.
Yeah, and the fact that they went by them, not only by 1 or 2 points, but by several, is huge. It really turns into a free throw shooting contest, Derek. That is the name of the rest of the game.
No doubt about it.
Your free throws.
No doubt, 16 of 24 from the line are the Eagles. Conversely, if the Spartans lose this game, you'd have to imagine that 12 of 23 from the line mixed in with 19 turnovers will loom large on Coach Jones's mind.
Well, yeah, and you add to that a more quiet than loud Bryant, your best player.
Bryant's got 15, by the way. One more from Maltsby. Knocks it down. 6-point lead for the Eagles with 13 seconds left to go. And Lance, so if you're the Spartans here, you thinking quick three with 13 seconds left and then maybe try to force a turnover?
Yeah, certainly. The clock is your enemy if you're Norfolk State. Right now, North Carolina is in position to win this game. So, one, you certainly don't want to foul if you're North Carolina Central. I'm sorry, I say State, I meant Central. You don't want to foul at all because then you stop the clock. On the other end, if you're Norfolk State, you want to get a quick basket, preferably a three because it's a two-possession game. You don't have a lot of time. But get the quickest basket you can, and then you have to foul immediately and hope that North Carolina Central misses the free throw. It's essentially, in my estimation, for North Carolina Central, it is a free throw shooting contest to get you to the finish line.
We'll see what the final 13 seconds have in store. The interesting part about this season for these two teams, they'll see each other again. In late February, talking to Coach Jones earlier, you know, we kind of touched on it at the beginning of this telecast. He knows he's going to see them again at least one more time, maybe two more times. So sometimes that might affect how you plan things out during the course of these games.
Yeah, and he said they won't show everything they can do. They're going to be rolling out.
Bryant, long three is good. Joe Bryant Jr. falling to the floor, bangs in a three-pointer, and now they'll try to force a turnover. A jump ball is called. The possession arrow points in favor of the Spartans.
Wow, what a possession from the best player. He knocks down the three falling. Wow. The jump ball possession, Spartans.
So let's set it up here for you. No timeouts left for the Spartans. The Eagles have just used their final timeout with 4.5 left. Lance, what do you do here if you're Coach Jones?
Well, if you're Coach Jones, this has to be a shot off the catch. You have time to make a pass, so look for possibly the inbounder to get it back. More importantly, Derek, North Carolina Central, there's 4.5 seconds left. You're up 3. Go ahead and foul right away because too many positive things have to happen in that circumstance. They've got to make a free throw, miss a free throw, get the rebound, and then score 2. A lot of coaches don't do that, and I'm a front office type. We get frustrated and angry at coaches who try to just play it out defensively. Go ahead and play the odds and foul right away on the catch.
Looking, still looking. Up top, and a foul.
Offensive foul, pushed off.
Tate thought that pass might be in danger. He pushed off.
Pushed off. Great job, and that was sold. Couldn't see who that was that fell, but it was an excellent job of selling the official.
Fennell at the line for the Eagles.
So many heroes for the Eagles tonight. So many heroes. Not over. Not over. You've got to make this.
Fennell, 45% on the year from the line. And he caught the front of the rim there. No timeouts left for the Spartans. Second one. Missed it. Rebound. Grabbed by Tate. Bryant with 2 seconds. Hawkins for 3. No good. Ball game. North Carolina Central hangs on to hand Norfolk State its first loss of the season in the MEAC.
What a great job closing that game out. You got a foul here, though, Derek. I don't think you want to give a chance for that to go in. Again, you're just dodging a bullet, giving it a chance to send the game into overtime.
Well, what a finish here tonight. 70-67 ball game. North Carolina Central gets the win for our entire crew. Lance Blanks on Derek Jones saying so long. The Eagles top the Spartans in the MEAC 70-67 from Durham. Have a good night, everybody.